All right, my name is Forelli McGilvory. I'm the Director of New Student and Family Programs at North Carolina Central University. So I grew up in a small town called Rayford, North Carolina. 910 area code is next to Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, Lumberton area. So a very rural community, small farm town. Has been small up until recently. Grew up in a church. It's growing, but grew up 2-parent household, very spiritual family. Everybody is a preacher, a bishop, a minister, something in the church. So that was my experience growing up. Huge family, cousins everywhere, aunts and uncles everywhere. So I think the matriarch of our family had 19 kids. And so it's just always people around. So I grew up with a strong religious influence that has really guided me throughout my life so far. But it was a fun time. Well, my family, the examples they set were the women took care of you. You can make kids and not be responsible for them. That they're drunks, drug dealers, like everything from that looks like a wayward or negative impression of black men. That's what I saw. However, it was the influence of black women in my life who pushed me to be something different and provided me different opportunities.
And black masculinity seemed like?
So I was in college right when, I guess the best way to frame it is right when Facebook started. So the internet hasn't always been around. Social media hasn't always been around. And just at that time, you were just now being able to connect with people who weren't in your space and having more access to people. It was still a time where, like now we're sitting in an LGBT center, and this is not something that I would have done in college. Even in college, I was not struggling, but trying to reconcile my faith and my sexual orientation. So there was a struggle from what I understood from my religious upbringing to that this was wrong, but I didn't ask for this, and what am I supposed to do? But it's always been, because we're in the South, and I went to a HBCU, and everyone knew that it existed, but no one would talk about it. But everybody was doing things in the shadows of night. So it was toxic, I would say, because people you could get bashed, or people would say very nasty things, and then they'd be hitting you up at night trying to have sex with you. So that's just the way it was. I think that culture still exists because we're still in the South, even though the rest of the world may have moved on and it's become accepting. We're in the Bible Belt, so how people see black men, that's prevalent through this community. So this is very hilarious to me still. I think I'm very gay, but most people don't know that I'm gay. They may, it's like, something's different, but they may not really be able to put a name on it. A lot of people say I perform heterosexuality very well, and that's not my intention. It's just that being a black gay man looks different for everybody. And so while I love to date a very feminine guy, I appreciate that. I think there's something very powerful in being who you are and being able to express that into the world with. Yeah, so it's a fuck you to society. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be myself, whether you're comfortable with it or not. Mm-hmm. For me, I really think the world is too concerned about people's private matters. There's this whole concept about, coming out. I'm like, it's really none of your business. Mm-hmm. What or who I stick with. Like, that's not who I am. It's just one small part of my identity. I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, I'm a son, I'm a community activist, I'm an educator, I'm a professional. So there's so many other pieces to me that my sexuality is not important unless I'm seeking to be with you in a romantic way. Right. So that's not something that I really don't consider it because I'm a man, and I think people forget that even if this there's a man who portrays his masculinity with heels, makeup, and a wig, he still can beat your ass. He's still a man. Like, don't get that twisted. And so I think, as I was stating earlier, the way that we have to perform and conform to white society's view of black masculinity, that really informs me to be like, hey, I'm going to show you that there's another way to be. I'm going to be myself, but it may not fit into your box of what a black man looks like. I can do all the things my dad taught me to do. I can build porches, I can fix my car, I can do all those things because at the end of the day, I'm still a man. And then again, women can probably do some of those same things, and they can perform masculine traits, but it doesn't change who you are.
Right.
Given where you're from and what your experiences are and what the media says, there's people who've never come in contact with black people and they only see us on TV. So what the media portrays is this is what a black person is and does. That's how people see us. And so gay people in the media up until this point have only been seen in forms of being these, what we call queens. You know, they're very flamboyant, they make everybody laugh, etc., etc. And it's very difficult for people to see a different perception. Now, with shows like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, people are seeing rappers who are gay and have same gender relationships, and so it's kind of messing with people's head that, oh, you never know who is gay because it doesn't show up one kind of way.
Right.
Just like you can look at, let's say you can look at somebody and say they're gay. You may look at somebody and say, oh, they soft. Just because of the way they present themselves, and that has no connection.
Right.
But again, our culture puts people in the way they represent themselves or they perform into these categories so they can say that you're A, B, C, or D. And regardless, without them having any conversation or being in relation with you, they're able to make some decisions on how they want to treat you. So I would say, yes, it's colorism, has something to do with it.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I think it all starts at home. When you see your little cousin, the first thing you ask them is, you got a girlfriend? Those are messages that we're sending to folks about what it means to be a young black man. Automatically, as soon as you're born, they look at your genitalia and determine who you are based on if you have a penis or a vagina. And then they have baby showers and they do these gender reveals and they choose colors, blue, pink. But you can't play with a Barbie doll. I was at an event and this grandmother was sitting in front of me and she had a young, they were both probably 2 and 3 years old. The male child was the oldest and the younger daughter was with her. And there was a baby doll. He picked up the baby doll and she lost it. I'm like, don't you ever touch a Barbie doll. And I was like, it's a toy. This him playing with a Barbie doll is not going to make him gay. And often that is why these very clear lines are drawn about masculinity, and that if I make sure you don't have these things. I never played with a Barbie doll. Ever. I'm still gay. You know, it has nothing to do with, people say nurture versus nurture. It's who you are. It's who you inherently are. You wake up and this is who you are. And the other thing is that it could change. It's fluid. Your orientation and who you're attracted to and what you're attracted to is very fluid. But again, we like to place people in boxes. A better image for black masculinity, we have to start early, letting people know that it's okay to be themselves. And I think we're getting to a place where people earlier and earlier they're able to be themselves, but there's still the societal perceptions that haven't changed. And either you have to just, say, hey, I'm going to be myself at all costs, regardless of what the world is saying this looks like, so that I can be happy. because people perform all the time to fit in, to make sure they can provide for their families. Just like a major example is, what is his name? Kris Jenner's ex,
Bruce.
but it's who is now Caitlyn Jenner,
Caitlyn.
who performed heterosexuality for years
Right.
because she did not want to upset other people's expectations and the world, because Caitlyn Jenner is an Olympic gold medalist. And so when you are true to yourself, you might upset other people's or let other people down, but it's more important to be yourself. And I think that's once people can be their authentic selves, Black masculinity can begin to look differently, and people can understand that.